if you are in a highly comfortable position, you've got your 6 times monthly salary saved up in savings, you've got whatever investments, you've got blah blah, you've got term insurance at least, things like this, then okay, I have extra money, and it's just like spending on a dress. If you want to remove extra money that you would have spent for a dress to help a relative, sure, by all means, that's your money, that's your savings apart from what you need to have a good life. But no, it's not your responsibility at all. It's actually, maybe you should think of it as a charity, diba? Parang you're not obliged to support them. It's nice for your heart to do so, so do it. But this, again, feeding a culture of dependency, or of spoon feeding in the country, these people, you are handicapping them. You are not pushing them to do something on their own. And that's severe like issue talaga for remittance, the remittance culture, diba? Which we're really hoping to change.
Guys, we're in for a treat. We have the very, very popular DANIE LAUREL in the vlog. So we're gonna ask so many questions about personal finance, and people see her as a person who asks a lot of questions about stocks, about the economy, but this time, let's hear her thoughts on personal finance. So, how's everything? How are you in this pandemic?
Good naman, thank you. As good as can be hoped, in these difficult times. So, I'm just grateful every day. I mean, like we were discussing offline, parang we're not naman magimik and so, all these things that I've been forced to do is actually not such a bad thing. And I've also been working from home for like 10 years. So I'm an academic. So I'm sanay with the isolation and working from home. Of course, for the kids, they miss going out and they need space because they're 2 boys around. But other than that, we're good. And yeah, I think, I was in an interview then yesterday, and I think, I'm not waiting for things to end. I think I'm not putting my life on hold whatsoever. I'm just enjoying like the and the difficulties that come, and yeah, riding the wave. You?
I'm good. I guess one of the advantages of trading stocks is you get to do it online, so there's not much a shift on that. Then on other things, since I've been traveling a lot the past years, I've set up everything where I could do most of my stuff online. So it's just a tweak that you do at home. Now, DANIE, I've been doing a series of videos since March. It's called Lockdown Learning. The whole goal of it is to educate Filipinos, to equip them, because there are a lot of things that will change after this, and a lot of people, for sure, because of this, will lose income. If it was you and you lost everything from this pandemic, literally, there are some businesses right now, their sales are zero. If you would lose everything, what would you do? What's your first step to get back on your feet?
I'm not an entrepreneur. I mean, I'm invested in some businesses, but I'm so risk averse. And this is precisely the period when you can see, I really salute those people because they took a huge risk. And you already know when you take that risk, that's going to impact your personal life and your personal finances. Personally, my biggest investment has always been education, diba? Spent a lot. Well, I got scholarships, but I also had to spend much more on studying than I did in other things I could have done. I didn't travel like everybody else when I was younger. I studied while everybody else traveled and partied and bought nice dresses and clothes. I actually paid a lot for schooling and learning. And I always thought in my head that parang I want to be paid for that. I want to be for my learning and education, so that if I lose everything, I'll always be the expert and I'll always be paid for something. And I think you can take away my house, you can take away my clothes, and I'll still get some income from somewhere. And it's just a matter of stepping out of your comfort zone and thinking of other ways where I can use my brain to be paid, like what you're doing, you're leveraging on new tools, social media. If I really wanted to, I could do that. I could earn income from that. If I really, really wanted to, I had on my show the head of English as a second language. You could do that. at the night. I'm good in English. You know what I mean? So you don't have to be limited to what did I study? What am I good at? Am I an entrepreneur? Am I not? I mean, you can do so many things. There are huge businesses. My friends own, big import companies of wine, whatever. They're selling wine from their houses right now. Diba? I mean, why? It's not a time to be ma-pride and to wait for things to look good and to have the perfect apps and whatever and to wait. No, like you need to ride the wave. Like, hustle when you want to and when you can. So I think the first thing I'll do, like you said, that there's no time to just stay down on your feet. Like just get off your feet and find something to do.
And I like what you said, no, your number one asset is your education, your knowledge. Because when you lose money, it's your knowledge also that will allow you to bring it back. Hindi na mawawala yun. Money will always lose, but what you learn, what your experiences, that's something that can bring you even forward. On top of that, we're talking about your finances, no. Did it ever come to a point that you lost a lot of money, that you went into massive debt because you might have bought something out of impulse or out of, I don't know, just a bad financial decision?
Thankfully, no pa naman. Not really. I love debt, actually. And I think if you are very financially literate, and this is something that we teach, it's a double-edged sword, syempre. Debt is only bad if you don't know what kind of debt to be taking, diba? But debt can dramatically change your life because just by principle, you are able to get something right now. Let's say you're young and you haven't, gone up the corporate ladder. Your income is not as much. If you don't get into debt, it's gonna literally take you 20, 30 years till the time you are 50 to buy a house. And by the time you have a house, you're gonna be dead. You're gonna have like how many years na lang to enjoy it. So having debt is actually believing in yourself and investing in yourself and being confident that over time, I'm gonna work freaking hard to be able to pay the debt so that I can enjoy what I can have right now. So of course I'm in debt, I'm proud of it. I have a huge mortgage in my condo in Paris, which is, and in Europe, it's like a 1%, interest rate fixed for 22 years. I mean, it's amazing. And so my rent and my tenants pay off the mortgage. Of course, I had to raise for the equity there, but still, and that's something that no matter what, also, I know that if I don't have a tenant, I have specific covers that I can still pay the mortgage. But having a mortgage in Europe is a matter of pride. It's a matter of I can afford that because I'm gonna work hard for it later on. So it does give you a sense of being responsible, and never I'm never in the phase of I'm just gonna quit my job. I'm just gonna travel the world. No, I have a mortgage and I love that, and I'm gonna be productive and I'm gonna pay that. So yeah, but in terms of your bad debt, no, because I put my money and eggs in the difficult debt, diba? Why am I risk and buy expensive dresses or a car that I don't really need if I'm already paying out something more interesting like that? Just I like more. I'm happier to have properties than to have expensive, high credit card debt. So and that's lucky because I'm not too vain about it. I'm not a fashion lover or whatever. So in that sense, no, I've never had an issue. Actually, credit card now na lang naging uso sa akin because sa Pilipinas, maraming deals and installment plans, 0% interest. But before, I've always been like, if I'm gonna buy something, it needs to come from savings, or that needs to be in your bank account. So you need to be able to pay that. And having credit card is just convenience for the perks, for the points, etc. It's not because I need to get in debt.
That's insane, no? 1% interest for property. Whoa.
If you lock that in.
Yeah, and that's something.
During the crisis, you lock that in.
I guess that's the advantage of more developed markets. Interest rates are lower than compared to the Philippines. You have a higher hurdle rate that you need to catch on a monthly basis.
Absolutely. Well, interest rates are going down now, and there's much more liquidity now. So it's also the time to be tapping into that, assuming you can afford it, of course.
What I noticed, based on what you said, is that for you to be able to pay that off, it requires a lot of discipline from your end. It requires a lot of doing things that are opposite towards as compared to what the society is doing in general. My next question is, how do you save? How do you do it? How do you budget? How do you budget that? Fixed percentages? What's your style?
It's hard talaga sa Pilipinas eh. You know why? Everything is cash-based and below. And the culture here is spontaneous, you know? So you're just like, let's go eat out. So you don't, it's kind of parang you're napaka-anti-social if you're just like, no, I'm not gonna eat out because XXX, you know what I mean? In Europe kasi it's much more structured. So everything can be, you know, like for example, just very basic. Groceries, you can do on an app and everything's nakalista and you can get the same thing, you know the prices. So you already know how much you're gonna spend dito. Parang you're nag-grocery. La la la. Parang lifestyle, diba? So hard. It's so hard talaga dito. And so what I did, like in Europe, I'm so disciplined. Like I have an Excel spreadsheet since I ever started working in like 2007, you know, for every single centavo or euro cent that I spent. And in that way, I could know through the years what I was spending for, how much I saved, and that's very easy to do. And here, you know, one of my best friends said, she doesn't even have to budget anymore. She just knows what to spend for and what not to spend for. Okay? And I think that mentality alone changes everything because you cannot, I mean, it's nice to have the split 5%, 20% savings, blah, 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 loan, blah. But at the end of the day, you know, we're all in different phases in life. I'm paying crazy amounts of tuition fees. So how are you gonna save in that? Diba? I'm paying a mortgage. So you can't like have that by the book in a lifestyle that is like mine. Traveling, you know, it's part of it. Whatever, it's part of your education. So I think the main mentality shift is, do I need it or not? Do I need it or not? If I want something, it's, do I deserve it? You know what I mean? Did I save enough money to deserve that? And that way, my friend is like, it's just a mentality thing. If I go to a shop, I just won't buy that shirt because no, you know, that's already something, and that's already savings. So that's already for savings. So I think that mentality is just how you save.
I like what you said, no, that personal finance is really very personal, that it's specific, that you have to custom tweak it to where you are financially. Now, in these times, a lot of people want to make money, a lot of people want to earn, but even in legal investments like stocks, mutual funds, businesses, people always think that they can get rich quick. That, oh, I'll double my money in a year. I'll buy this franchise and then I'll make a lot of money because it's a franchise. What's your take on get rich quick?
Nothing that is quick will last. You know, just the principle of life. Everybody that was rich was not rich quick. You know, they were rich with a lot of trial and error and difficulty and research. I also had that talk with Ramon Monzon on the PSE. He's like, investing in the stock market is not to be rich. It's to invest. It's to, you know, elevate your life. It's to be, you know, to save money. It's a way to put your money somewhere. You're not supposed to think of it as gambling and see, oh, I won. You know, the market's rally, I'm winning, and because that's the opposite of fundamental finance, diba? You're not gambling on the stock markets. You're not making guesses. Valuation, and I'm a prof, is something you can really measure and study, and that's why there is a share price that makes sense and might not make sense because you've got thousands, hundreds of thousands of analysts and people really researching on the company. It's a fundamental thing. The share price is like a number that is not in the air. It's related to how much this company is going to grow forever, the capex, you know, the extra cash flow that it can give to its investors after having paid all of its operations, all of its employees, etc. So it's growth prospects of something. So it's not something that, yun nga, get rich quick. It makes no sense. It's really makes no sense. It's actually sit down, do your models, understand the fundamentals of this company, and then get rich. But the get rich is the function of knowledge, you know, and how much you know about the company rather than making things.
I like what you said, that it's a process that, and I always say this, the fastest way to get rich is to do it slow, because if you do it slow, you don't cut corners, you do it properly, you make it right. With that, I'm sure a lot of people would want to know this. How did you earn your first million, and what were you doing at that time?
I had like the best job after my MBA, right? In terms of being a dream iBanker. And I didn't even like really think of the money at that point. I was like 21, but I was thrown into an investment bank, and there you're concerned about the bonuses. The deals were billions of euros, really, like billions of euros for deal, and you get cuts with that. So I guess I earned my first million in that. That paid for many things. Like even if it was just a couple of years that I was there, I actually managed to live on the savings that I had from that period for quite a while, diba? And that allowed me to take a step back, and that I think allowed me to, do periods in my life where I didn't have to earn that much. Like I was doing my PhD, and even then was still money making because I was paid to do a PhD, diba? And salary as a PhD scholar was higher than most people earn, basically. It's the same. So, there are certain things that you do in life, but you don't need to chase the salary all the time. And like, for example, it really depends on how much you save in your lifestyle, diba? Because you could have a very high salary, but at the end of the day, you don't save that much and you don't get to invest a lot. There are a lot of expats, for example, with super high salaries, but the lifestyles are also very, very high. So they have much less investments, much less business investments, much less property investments. They're always moving around the place, but they probably haven't earned their first million. And then there's some people that are so simple and I don't know, selling very basic products. They don't need to be setting and being investment bankers, and they probably save much more than other people. So yeah, depends. Mine, I guess, on the basis that I got that first job that was very high level, something that I don't need at this point anymore, for example.
And that's so true, no? I like what you said about there are some businesses that are so glamorous, but what they don't know is because of a large overhead, they're not probably earning also as much. But there are a lot of people na they're selling simple stuff online, but they're making a lot of money also.
Lalo na dito sa Pilipinas, diba? The C&D market products, that's people are rich and they're so like humble about it.
Do you ever get lured to buy online?
Honestly, I look at shopping as, if you're shopping, there's something fundamentally wrong with your life. Okay. Like, honestly, I feel like it's a coping mechanism. It's a therapy, diba? Some people, there are different ways to cope for different people, and I never judge, Some people, whatever, go to therapy. Some people drink alcohol. Some people go shopping. It's a thing. To the extent that, it makes you happy and it makes you a good person, and it, for example, gives you empowerment. You love the clothes you wear. You're able to get a nice job because you dress well or whatever. And it's something nice. But of course, when it's overboard and you're just doing it as a compulsive habit, like drinking alcohol or going out, instead of for what you gain out of it, then that's what, of course, is stressful. Now, online shopping, I think, is fantastic because it really allows you actually more discipline than going to a mall. In my opinion. I don't know, some people baka hindi. Pero for me kasi, nakikita mo every single thing that you put in your, and so many times, it's just the love of doing it. So I'll just like put so much items that I like, or I'll favorite or save, and then I don't buy it in the end, Or you see in your cart how much it is, and then you have a budget in your head, so you start deleting certain things. So I'll always start 20 dresses and then just go down to 2. So it's not a bad deal kasi I think if outside, baka mas, I don't know, risky pa na yung some stuff, diba? So okay lang. I'm okay with online shopping. I think it's a discipline.
Oh, I got it. Now let's move to something different. There's a big study in investing that they talk about buy term, invest the difference.
Okay.
Instead of getting a bundle, you just buy a separate term insurance, and then you invest it in wherever, an index fund or individual stocks. What's your take on that?
So the way we teach insurance, at least to our students in OFWs, is term is the minimum. That's it. Term is like required. Okay, like, you can't even question getting term insurance. Like, will I get it or not? It's like, yeah, you need to get it, and it needs to be that at least. And then if you have money, and depending on your situation, then you really, really need to upgrade, because that's how life is, diba? You need more coverage for certain things. So if you have children, hindi na diba? It's not, how do you say it? It's not enough kasi they're gonna need to survive, and then every time. So insurance needs to not be a static thing. It has to evolve with your life. So maybe, once you're supporting one kid, then kaya pa. If you get 2 kids, you need to upgrade your insurance. If these, for example, turn 18, here sa Pilipinas, they're still under you. But in theory, if they're, independent na, you don't need to have that insurance anymore to support them, diba? They should be able to get their own insurance at one point. Actually, the rule is once your child starts getting their first paycheck, wag na silang i-insure sa PEP. Get your own freaking insurance. Get your own health insurance. Why am I doing it for you? So yeah, it's actually like a curve, diba? So parang the insurance, and then it gets really, really expensive at a certain point when your life becomes more demanding and you have more resources and you need it. And your job, for example, job security, you lose it, you need insurance to pull that out. And then in general, dapat pa konti na lang pa konti yung insurance mo, diba?
You opened up a very, very good topic, no? What's your take on this? Once you get older, do you want to leave a large inheritance to your kids, or bahala sila to fend on their own? They have to work very, very very hard.
Bahala sila.
Talaga, so ano lang, so you won't give them any luxury, you won't buy them a car when they hit college. Walang ganon.
Car naman, it's like a need, diba? That's a debatable thing. I'm not gonna Ferrari, but you need to get them a car to help them do their thing. So anything that's productive, of course. I think as a parent, our duty, is to pay their basic needs, and in theory, if you have money, to educate them. Okay, and my parents spent money on education and educational related things. Like I did all the freaking lessons possible, diba? I don't know, ballet, piano, violin, tennis, anything that will allow me to have a full life, culture, arts. That, to be honest, like you were asking the first question, I'm like, okay, if all hell breaks loose, I'm gonna start painting and selling art, diba? Like certain hobbies and skills that are monetizable at the end of the day, because my parents invested in that, and they didn't give me like a fancy car whatsoever. But yeah, I think it's up to you as a parent on how it has to be a gift, when you give an inheritance. But in Europe, it's really not an expected thing. Here it's a nice cultural thing, and if you have much to give, then why not? I'm not like hardcore, no, never 0-0. I think like it helped a lot. Like when the times that I needed help, my parents were there. But honestly, since my first job, since I was 20, I never received allowance. Zero talaga, and I could have, and it's not like an issue. But if I asked, but I never had to, because why? I'm already smart enough to get a job. I can live in my means. I can live in a 15 square meter apartment on my salary. Why on earth do I need to have a big apartment, and ask money from my parents just for these things? So, no, I don't think so. And I think they have all the stuff that it's their money, and they can do whatever they want with it. And now that I have kids, I'll just accept whatever gifts they give. Thank you. Shouldering my child's tennis lesson, you know what I mean? But it's a joy to do it. It's not my utang na loob to the children to do that. I think it's really not, and and we have so many research on that, on the dependence of our children, of people on just inheritance, diba? Many generations have suffered because of that. There's a book, Price of Privilege. Parang you stop it's harder to be ambitious actually when you're expecting money to just come, diba? So you have to feed that appetite for a person to work for something else.
You said something very interesting. Those were your kids. And you opened up about OFWs. What about OFWs that support other family members? Tuition fee ng cousin, or they have other siblings that are strong enough naman to work but are not working. But there's this hero mentality that I have to be the one to provide for their family. So I guess my question is, how much is enough? And is it okay to not give also at a certain point?
Give. That's the answer. Don't. As in, that's what we've been rallying for and pushing and trying to put in everyone's heads that's taking a while to penetrate everybody. No, you are not responsible except for the people that are in your immediate nuclear family. That's it. Okay, if there is an orphan nephew or whatever that really has no way, then sure. But all of that needs to be justifiable. No. The main issue with OFWs is they go there hoping to come home and they end up never coming home because it's a really vicious cycle of being asked for padala. Not just our OFWs, even our helpers at home. And now in this COVID pandemic, you can see it. Grabe yung request ng padala from family that, and I recognize there are certain times like now where we need to be, just give kasi kailangan talaga kumain. But there are certain things na parang, hey, hindi na kailangan yan, dapat kayo na. I think that our first question in the course is always, okay, if meron akong relative, kapatid ng pinsan ko na may kailangan at kailangan niya, bibigyan ko ba? Pero nahihirapan din ako sa sarili kong finances. What's the answer? And all answering, oo, bibigyan. I'm like, bakit? Sana nga? Bakit? And then for me, it's really like, pero hindi ka pa okay eh. You don't have savings. If ikaw ma-hospitalize, you've given everything away. So no, I think if you are in a highly comfortable position, you've got your 6 times monthly salary saved up in savings, you've got whatever investments, you've got blah blah, you've got term insurance at least, things like this, then okay, I have extra money and it's just like spending on a dress. If you want to remove extra money that you would have spent for a dress to help a relative, sure, by all means, that's your money, that's your savings apart from what you need to have a good life. But no, it's not your responsibility at all. It's actually, maybe you should think of it as a charity, diba? Parang you're not obliged to support them. It's nice for your heart to do so do it. But this, again, feeding a culture of dependency or spoon feeding in the country, these people, you are handicapping them. You are not pushing them to do something on their own. And that's severe issue talaga for remittance, the remittance culture, diba? Which we're really hoping to change.
And I think one of the best things people can give their relatives is not just money, but give them opportunities to earn money, because iba yung feeling that they worked hard for something that they will also get, so they appreciate the money even more. And I guess the second part there is you can only give what you have. If you are not in a position where you can help people, like in an airplane, diba? When it's about to crash, you take care of yourself or your kids, because you cannot help them if you yourself are in trouble also.
One nice thing that we were looking at our studies, parang, the mothers, kasi diba it's mainly mothers yung domestic, the way they help their children is by buying them things that replaces the mother being there physically. So for example, a washing machine. If you have no washing machine, you're really putting a lot of pressure sa pamilya mo to have to laba, to have, and that's productive hours that these people lose that they could use studying instead. So same with stove, same with, stuff like TV, but stuff like that, microwave, ganyan. And so they invest in that. If you send money or buy those things, that's a nice thing kasi you're upskilling your family and you're providing them means to be productive in other ways. So it's not naman don't buy anybody anything. But if you are to buy, you are to make padala, don't just give the cash. Put it in an education, whatever, setting, diba? Or put it in insurance for your loved one, or put it in something like a washing machine or an air condition para naman something useful.
Great. Last question, Danny. There are a lot of Filipinos right now, but not Filipinos, but majority of the people around the world, there are a lot of people who are depressed, they're anxious, they don't know what's going to happen to their income. Any words of advice for them? Because we're all in one storm together. We may be in different boats, we may be in different situations, but we're all going through the same storm together.
You need to understand that life is a series of lows and highs. And it's beautiful because of that, diba? We can't live our lives on happy every day. I don't want to know what's going on with the disease. I don't want to see how many people have died. No. You have to accept that and realize that you have control over certain things, and those that you don't have control over, really, you need to let it go, you know? So if you can control that your family does not get sick, if you can control that your job and your business will survive, okay, and then you can control a certain frame that makes you feel better, okay, and try and block out all the things that you cannot control. How many waves, when the ECQ gonna be lifted, you can't control that. So why are you gonna make problema and not gonna do anything until the ECQ is lifted? No, like, you're not lifted, do what you can, diba? So take things into control. I think that's like the, you know, the advice of the Stoics. The best thing is to be pragmatic. I think pragmatism always solves depression, diba? Another thing, like you mentioned, what being depressed, it's a normal thing to feel, and it's something that we are all feeling. And there's always this, you know, articles on depression and how to cope with it, is to read more about it and to understand it more. The more you understand what the root of your depression is it because of the job? Is it because of the social isolation? Is it because of whatever? Then the more you can take pragmatic steps. So understand it. And also finally, take a step back. I had to take, like, I think, parang after the lockdown, and also like I was out of broadcast because they just told us one day before, no more broadcast tomorrow. We're like, okay, what now? What's the plan? No plan, zero. And you know, it makes you negative and it makes you want to rant. Everybody in your chat group is like hassled about what's gonna happen to my job, my money. You know, people, I have a loan, ganyan. I just took a step back for like 1 week. Like I didn't do broadcasts. I didn't go to work. I tried to reconfigure with my family, with my kids, what the situation was. I was actually out of social media for like a week. Yeah. And then I tried to like figure it out. And then when I went back on social media, I was like, okay, I have a show, this. I organized. But that took, you know, several days of me trying to like get my bearings. And I talked to my closest friends and tried to understand, okay, what should I do at this moment? You know, talk to my family. Should I push for a show? Should I not? Should I? And after that, then, okay, I was back in the world, motivated and fine. So people need to take a step back every time they feel they need to do it. It's a very healthy exercise to be done.
If you guys are learning, comment I'm learning, and if you have any other questions, put them in the comment section and we'll see if we can make more videos to help you. DANIE, Laurel, thank you so much for this. No, I know you're mostly on the opposite side of this, but it's nice also to ask you amazing questions also that will benefit a lot of people. You have a show, One News Network. How can they catch you and where, so that people can...
Yeah. So Business World Live right now is, instead of 9 to 10, we're actually airing 10:30 to 11 because the grid is all messed up. Messed up, but like redone. So basically, One News right now is just doing on the hour hits, like what's important, and minimizing on the shows that we need to do so that our people can stay home and healthy, etc. Business World Live is now a 30-minuter for the time being for the ECQ, so that's 10:30 to 11. And you can catch it live on Signal, channel 8 and 250 as usual, or on our website. Now we're actually streaming na rin on YouTube, so that's a cool thing. Before bawal kasi we wanted talaga viewers, but now, you know, we're happy to stream it on YouTube. It's on YouTube of One News. It's on Facebook. You can rewatch it anytime during the day. And we're really working hard on getting it well done, and to do this, siguro it will be longer than the ECQ. So yeah, so guys, thank you for supporting Marv. And we will also have Marvin on the show.
So I'll put the link below so you can follow them or subscribe to them in YouTube. For sure, there's so much insight and analysis, and DANIE always would ask the right questions at the right time. Very, very timely questions. So thank you so much, DANIE, Laurel, for joining us in the vlog. So
Marv, happy Monday.
To everyone, I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon. Bye, everyone.